I have heard from numerous Nevadans about delays in the receipt of HUD funds. And let me talk a little bit about that. The Nevada Homeless Alliance in Nevada has yet to receive its fiscal year 2025 HUD Continuum of Care grant agreement. They need nearly $1 million in funding to help people at risk of experiencing homelessness. The grant period, this new grant period begins on August 1st, 2026, and they still lack an executed grant agreement. If you're appropriated, will you do all you can to get HUD to execute on these grant agreements?
Yes, thank you. The grant agreements, its execution, and is a program decision and a program oversight. The Office of the Chief Financial Officer is responsible for making sure the funds are available and when appropriated, and then also make sure they're accounted for properly once they're dispersed, which is our primary obligation. We do not control the timing of the NOFAs, the Notice of Finance Availability. We do not control the timing of the grant agreements. That's a program decision, so those decisions are made at the program level. Our responsibility is to make sure that they're properly accounted for and available.
So when you say the program level, who at the program level is making that decision?
The assistant secretaries of each of the individual programs.
Is it part of your job to also ensure that the program assistant secretary, whoever's managing that program, follows the law?
Yeah, the programs that's the program's responsibility.
Correct. But you ensure that they follow the law. I mean, if the money's been appropriated, it's earmarked, it's already been agreed to, and it's supposed to go out, you don't have any obligation under the law to ensure that it's followed?
Yeah, our responsibility in the Chief Financial Officer's office is to make sure that the funds are available and appropriated and then accounted for once they are dispersed.
You have no other obligation in the disbursement. So for instance, the housing trust funds that are awarded to states this month, you have no obligation to ensure that they are dispersed to those states?
Our responsibility is to make sure they're properly accounted for once they're dispersed.
Explain that to me. They're properly accounted for. What does that mean? That
So
the
when money
states properly account for them?
No, not the state, HUD, the federal
Okay.
government.
So your job is just to make sure the money's in the account. You don't have any obligation to ensure that that money that's in the account that has been earmarked for certain specific programs gets out.
Yeah, the programs are responsible for issuing the NOFAs, executing the grant agreement, and then the disbursement of funds. We're responsible to make sure once the funds are appropriated, they're properly allocated in the accounts, and then once they're dispersed, we make sure that they're properly accounted for and reported. Everything you're referring to is a program responsibility.
And that's the deputy secretary making that decision?
Assistant secretary.
Assistant secretary.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Ms. Warren, many of my colleagues and I have been deeply concerned that loosening export controls on our nation's most advanced semiconductors it will be a major contributor to China's AI progress and reduce America's advantages in this space. That's why I've worked with my colleagues in a bipartisan way to advance legislation like the AI Overwatch Act and the Chip Security Act. I'm curious, you talked a little bit about this, but will you share more about your views on the use of export controls to prevent our most advanced semiconductor technology from flowing to China?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. So when I think about my philosophy here, as an attorney, I go back to the statute. And ECR, I think, outlines how we should be approaching these issues. It says, we need to put national security controls in place export controls in place when there are significant national security concerns, while also recognizing before we do so what the economic impact of those controls are. So that's something I think we need to be monitoring really carefully. And BIS has staff that actually is constantly monitoring the new technology that is coming and seeing whether the controls are necessary. My understanding is that there are strong controls in place, but that said, technology is always evolving. We need to keep up to date with everything. And if I'm confirmed, that's something I'm going to make sure the staff is constantly looking at, and I'm constantly looking at as well.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, when you're employed as the Deputy Director at the Consumer Bureau, I was one of many critical of the decision to halt proactive compliance examination of lenders under the Military Lending Act. I will note that during your tenure there, the CFPB did file 9 cases against companies that targeted service members, veterans, and surviving spouses. Let me ask you this. I am concerned that right now the Office of Service Member Affairs has been eliminated. Would you commit to restoring it?
Senator, that office exists by statute. I'll happy to take a look if I'm confirmed and ensure that it's fulfilling its duties.
Would you let me know if it's not? Would you let us know if it needs staff or funding to make sure it continues its statutorily obligated duties?
I will do so, Senator.
Thank you. I know my time is up. Thank you.